Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks for being here today. The topics we're discussing today is very, very important for my folks back in Alabama. The Farm Bill process, my goal is to ensure that Alabamians and the southern states have a seat at the discussion table. Our farmers rely upon a strong farm safety net to manage risk, weather national disasters, and remain in business despite fluctuating market conditions. Despite the USDA's farm safety net, producers are still struggling to break even due to the skyrocketing inflation and rising input costs for food, fuel, and fertilizer. As Farm Bill discussions take place, we want to ensure a strong crop insurance program that maintains the public-private partnership makeup to help our producers manage risk. Over 1.5 million acres, equaling $920 million, are protected by crop insurance in my state of Alabama. Additionally, Alabama producers rely heavily upon the price loss coverage and the agricultural risk coverage programs to help them stay on their feet when crop revenue decline or market values are low. So, Mr. Bonney, my peanut growers in Alabama report that the PLC and the 2018 Farm Bill has worked well. From safety net perspective, references prices have not kept up with the rising input costs in agriculture. Has USDA reviewed how we address inflation from a policy perspective over the life of the Farm Bill?
I will tell you, my legislative staff is always quick to tell me to emphasize that Congress writes the Farm Bill. And that's going to be important here, too. Right. Obviously, those reference prices are in statute. But I think you're right. We've seen, when we talk to producers, there's lots of concern about, obviously, rising input costs. Our delivery of our programs is critical to be able to put money in their pocket to help address that. So I assume the conversation about those prices will be a part of the debate that Congress has.
During the Trump administration, when commodities were impacted by foreign trade barriers and retaliatory tariffs, USDA implemented the market facilitation program to help offset export loss growers were facing. Has the USDA considered a similar program to offset the rising cost of farm inputs?
We have not, but I think, as you know, we've made some investments to try and encourage, for example, a domestic production of fertilizer to create more options, more competition, and we think there may be some, that approach and potential other approaches might be helpful on input costs.
Thank you. Ms. Munger, one of the strong suits of the federal crop insurance program is RMA's authority to do its own research and develop policies. Through this approach, the program can expand to cover new crop types, such as specialty crops, and managing new types of risk. When I look through the RMA summary of business for Alabama, I see dozens of available crop insurance products where we're selling fewer than 10 policies each year, 10 policies among Alabama's 44,000 farmers. I like having options for our farmers and support the flexibility of the program, but from a good governance perspective, can you walk me through any cost-benefit analysis you do on the marketability of the policies you put out, and do you need additional authorities or resources to do that kind of analysis?
I might turn that question to Administrator Bunger.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Senator. Currently, how RMA stands up, all of its different crop policies, I call it a three-pronged approach. We look to the Hill, we look to you to have us stand up those policies that you write. We also look to the 508H process where private submitters submit, and they also involve then recommendations, support from growers, much like the corn growers did with PACE. And then the third is within the department itself, within what guidelines that RMA has to stand up programs. All of those come with reviewers and actuarial soundness that needs to be maintained. So it's a balance. With the 508H process, they are supported by reviewers and also AIPs that recommend how marketable the products are. So we will continue to work through those and take a look at those. The policies that are available have increased exponentially. In 2000, I believe RMA had 300 policies, and now today we are at 600 policies. The The billions of dollars of liability that are covered under those policies have grown also dramatically. You know, the dollar amount that comes to my mind back in 2000 was $30 billion. Today, we are at over $200 billion worth of liability, and that's every year. So we are seeing a great deal of interest in all of the policies that we stand up, but at the end of the day, we listen to the farmer. We listen to the stakeholders and what their needs are, and that's what we will continue to do.
Thank you. One quick question, Mr. Dumino. I hear concerns from Alabama farmers that FSA loan size limitations have not kept up with rising prices of farmland and farm inputs, making it more difficult for farmers, especially beginning farmers, to access capital. Do you think we should increase those loan size limits? And if so, what level do you believe that we should go to?
As the Undersecretary mentioned, sir, thank you for the question, but as the Undersecretary mentioned, we understand our role in this, and our role is to carry that out, whatever statutory limits the Congress would put on us with regard to those loan programs. I hear the same concerns from a lot of the producers that I have a chance to talk with. I give my phone number out at every event, and I encourage producers to call. We make sure we share with them where the problems are that we can't overcome with regulatory or policy work, and that's one of them that we just run into about every time. Our lenders enjoy a $2.037 million guarantee, and we have the capacity in many cases to be more flexible than lenders can because of our broader risk pool, and we can't help borrowers that get in trouble with a guaranteed lender. So there's really only one way out. So I would really love to visit further about what those limitations may be, and look forward to getting requests from you all about how we can provide technical assistance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got a couple of questions I'd like to submit for the record, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to follow up and encourage you. We would love to have further input from you. Both Senator Bozeman and I were just saying we hear about this. So we would welcome, as part of this process, is to get as much input and ideas as possible. And so we would